Let's go to page 67 and talk about monitoring programs or monitoring systems. There's a lot of italics here because I wanted you to see the actual, what the exam manual says on what your monitoring system needs to look at. Now, there's two types of monitoring that are out there. There's the manual monitoring, and that's what takes place for where individuals are actually going out and reviewing reports or reviewing, for your customers in general across the board. There are certain reports that are being generated that you're taking a look at and you're monitoring over time. Currency transaction reports, large item reports, significant balance changes. Whatever you're looking at, you want to make sure you keep a list of that so that you can get credit for that monitoring. I would also go out and find out, okay, there are other people not BSA designated that are also looking at reports. And so do they know that they should also be looking at those reports to look for, some kind of suspicious activity? And if they see it, then they know to report it to the BSA officer. That way you can incorporate them into your manual monitoring process. The other flavor of monitoring that's out there, and a lot of financial institutions have this, is an automated monitoring program where there's specific software-based monitoring built into their system, and they're looking for certain types of transactions. And the sophistication of your automated monitoring program, I mean, there's all different types of monitoring that's out there. You just need to make sure that you have somebody who can really articulate what your monitoring program does. And then regardless of which way, whether you have one or the other, or probably a combination of both, your system management, you need to be managing that system over time. So for your manual monitoring, you need to be making sure periodically, okay, what are we looking at? How often? What are we looking for? Do the people who are doing this monitoring, do they know what they should be looking for? An exercise that I recommend is to go through in any of those, like for instance, that sanctions alert that came out yesterday. There's a list of red flags in that alert that you could go and take a look at, go through each red flag and say, okay, is our system going to catch that? Would we know if that red flag occurred as part of our monitoring? Same with the automated program. You can go through and you need to make sure that your system is looking for the right things. And depending on the complexity of your system, maybe it's feeding from outside sources to do that. Maybe you have to tweak everything on your own to generate the red flags. However it works, you probably are going to need some outside verification of that process to make sure that it's actually working the way it's intended, or that the way that it's working makes sense for the risk of your activity. And again, identifying activity, this is kind of a repeat from what we had before, being aware of what you're actually looking for and that the people who are doing this monitoring know what they should be doing, and asking those tough questions.